Uh, Good news, everyone. Pokemon Shield still sucks. So the new DLC released less than a month ago. I don't remember exactly when, and I don't really care to look. It's about 4 hours long, and it's really mostly padding. I'm pretty sure I spent at least an hour of that flying from town to town looking for new clothing options and trying on different things, and ultimately I settled on an outfit that basically looked like what I had before. There are a lot more new clothes, but the mileage you get from that is going to vary heavily. A lot of it is just recolors, it feels like, and some of the clothes are literally just Marnie's clothes but in different colors, so the game lets you cosplay as Marnie, which is a little weird. I would love to just show up side by side with Marnie and be like, hey, let's battle. And she's like, what are you doing? Eevee, you can't do this. You can't just be me. Anyway, yeah, I like some of the new styles, but it really didn't feel to me like there was enough here. There are definitely some styles I wish were in the game but are not. And there are only a few new hairstyles, one of which is Marnie's style. I'm imagining if you play as a boy, you either get Hop's style or Bidet's hairstyle, but it doesn't really matter. This has frustrated me even more than the original game because I wanted to believe that a lot of the original game's mistakes were just mistakes that could be ironed out. You will be pleased to know that there have been 0 quality of life fixes after this DLC update. The game still lags like a motherfucker when you connect to the internet. The bike is still hella slow. Still no ride Pokemon or anything like that. Things like Pop-In I didn't expect to be fixed because that's like an engine thing, right? You can't really fix that with a DLC update in most games. But like there's still no animation for flying from one town to another. That fucking artifact is still there in the loading screen. You still can't change your clothing anywhere outside of a dressing room except for like the dojo, which is a new place you get to go to. I mean, why can't I set up a camp and change my clothes in the camp? The base game is still the exact same, so if you had major issues like I did with the base game, you will not be pleased with this. And even with the new stuff they added, like there's some stuff I like, maybe like 3 or 4 things, but there's a huge caveat for each one. It feels so incredibly lazy. So I'm going to get into details, and I don't care about spoilers for this, because really, there's no real story in this DLC. You just show up at this new island of armor, you take a train to get there, and you meet your rival. I personally like the design of the sword rival more, but in Shield you get Avery, who's a psychic specialist, and he is incredibly boring. His main thing is just like, I want to be the best, but I'm willing to lie to be the best and not actually try hard. And the game tries to give him some bullshit arc, and it's so stupid. So you fight Avery, and you beat him, obviously, and then he lies and doesn't want to tell you that there's a dojo on Isle of Armor. You get to the dojo anyway, you meet Mr. Mustard, who's the big head honcho of the dojo, and he just sends you on all these menial tasks to do in order to prove your worth for the dojo. Like, one of them is finding a bunch of Slowpoke. The other one is finding some mushrooms. And then the third thing is walking around with this new Pokemon, which has a legitimately cute cutscene that you get introduced to it with that shows off a lot of its personality. But then the game is like, hey, this Pokemon's on level 10, so walk around with it, and don't stop walking around with it until it reaches level 70. By the way, everything on this island, at least when I played, was level 60 or above. So, like, okay, I know you want me to care about this Pokemon game, but you can't just throw it at me and expect me to start caring about it when I already have a full team, already well above level 60, and you're telling me to just level this thing up that I just met. Not only is it taking up a slot in my already established team, but what if I just didn't care about this Pokemon's design or anything? I mean, I think it's cute. I do like the design, and I like the cutscene we get introduced to it with. But man, this is just padding a game 101. Level 10 to 70? Are you kidding me? When you get to level 70 with a thing, you get to fight in either the Tower of Waters or the Tower of Darkness. This is a cool little branching evolution thing. I was gonna do both of them, but I didn't feel like playing through this twice, so I just went with the Tower of Water. When you get to the top, you fight Master Mustard, who has his own Cub Flu. I forgot what it's called. Cub Flu. You get the Cub Flu. And when you beat that, you get the evolution. But in order to Gigantamax this thing, you need to do something else. Hop shows up because I really, really wanted to see him. Marnie's also on this island for like no reason. You just get like 2 dialogue lines with her and that's it. You don't even get to battle her or anything. You don't get to battle Hop here either. But anyway, he shows up and he's like, hey, I don't know anything about this place, but I was overhearing everything you were talking about and I know how to make this thing Gigantamax. So you have to walk around the island some more, and the new island is just as boring as the wild area. It's even smaller, obviously, because it's just a DLC island, and it did some cool things where I was like, holy shit, that's a Wailord right there in the distance. Oh man, I can't wait to get to that Wailord. And you get to it, and it's like a normal-sized, big-ass Wailord, and I'm like, holy shit, they did it, they fixed something. They made Wailord the right size. I'm so excited. And then you battle it, and it's the same size as it was before. And it just fucking launches me. It fucking roundhouse kicks me out of the immersion for the game. So the game here introduces this new thing you can do where, like some other Pokemon games, you can let your Pokemon follow you while you're in this area. So while you're running around this island, you can choose your topmost Pokemon and let it follow behind you. And that's really cool. I really like that. I mean, it really sucks that this is a feature that's relegated only to this DLC, and they basically paywalled off a feature that other Pokemon games have had. And the feature is worse in this game because so many times the Pokemon's walking speed is so fucking slow that you will literally see them fade out of existence and fade back into existence right behind you because they lag so far behind. Not to mention if you're on your bike. You see in the water a Sharpedo rushing toward you as fast as fucking possible, but then when you have it following behind you, it's slow as all hell. It's just, how do you fuck this up so badly? It's such an easy thing. Like, just increase the walking speed. I know maybe the animation will look out of sync or whatever, and maybe they didn't want to create new animations for the Pokemon. I mean, I just have this thought, right? I took out my Boltund because I was like, hey, maybe that's the feeling they're going for, is having a trainer running around with their dog right beside them. Something a little bit like when you have D-Dog following you in Metal Gear Solid 5, and it's so cool how he runs beside you, and it feels really nice to have your buddy dog right there with you. But not in this game. In this game, your Pokemon just runs way far behind you, and there's no cool feeling you have that you're exploring with them. It almost feels like they're not there half of the time. Oh, you know what else is cool? You can only use this feature on the Isle of Armor, not in the regular wild area for whatever fucking reason. I don't get it. I honestly have no idea how you do that. How do you So your Pokemon doesn't follow you in routes or in cities, which is like, okay. I mean, you can do that in other games, and it was cool in those games, but I get it. Maybe the wild area is a bigger area, like you couldn't have a gigantic fucking Wailord following you around in a big-ass city. First of all, Wailord is not his normal size that you literally just saw on the Isle of Armor when he's following behind you. Instead, Wailord is his tiny fucking size that he is in battle. So again, immersion shattering. But beyond that, for whatever fucking reason, your Pokemon cannot follow you in the wild area. And to me, that is just such... Is that even negligence? I don't know. Did they really just paywall off this feature? That seems utterly ridiculous to me. Another feature they may or may not have paywalled off, you finally have the ability to change a Pokemon from its regular Dynamax form to its Gigantamax form. So this is where the whole Hop side quest takes you. You get to do these cute little things where you have to help one Pokemon reunite with its family, which is like, that would be a cute little side quest in a better Pokemon game. Eventually, you fight a Vespiquen out of nowhere because you need max honey or whatever, and Hop doesn't help you because he's a jackass. And then after you do that, you get the ability to feed a Pokemon a max soup in order to give it its Gigantamax form. You're supposed to use it for the new Pokemon you just got, but I was like, I want my Hatterene to get this because I like Hatterene, and I didn't have the Gigamax form. Again, I already had a whole team of Pokemon, none of whom have a Gigantamax form except for my Eevee, and I didn't want to keep switching back and forth between teams. I know I can make battle teams and whatnot, but whatever. So that feature seems to be paywalled off, because as far as I can tell, you can only do that on the Isle of Armor. Also, a thing about the clothes, you have to fly to each individual department store in order to find the new clothes. Each one has different ones. Yeah, you know how each department store has different styles, which is cool. I like that each store has its own unique individuality, even though the interior looks exactly the same. But it's just annoying when you had this new DLC and I'm trying to find all the content and I have to keep flying to different stores to see where's what. It would have been cool, right, if you have this game with this big-ass fucking wild area and you could find cool things like new clothes and other stuff like that, different accessories out in the world. Like, what if you could find legendary-looking accessories out in the world, or Pokemon-themed outfits or whatever out in the world when you're doing things? That would be a cool little prize you can find. A cool thing that a lot of games are centered around. Instead, again, the new big open-world area is just as boring as the last one, and there's not really anything to find. And the things that you do find that are of any interest, they decided, hey, you know what's cool? People really like when they find something in a world and they can use it and they feel good about it that they found it. But here's what we're going to do in our game. We're going to make those things that you find one-use consumable items only. This is when Pokemon Sword and Shield takes a huge step back. And I don't think I mentioned this in my original video. They have, TMs, which are technical machines, which used to be one-time use in the old games, but they made it permanent in the new game, so you can teach your whole party the same move without having to get it over and over again. That was a cool quality of life thing that they introduced to the Pokemon series years and years and years ago. In this game, they decided to bring back the one-time use TMs, but this time they're called technical records, or TRs. So TMs are still there, but then TRs are the new thing that are single use. And I was like, okay, alright, you can have these super powerful moves in these TRs, and you can have them more scattered around the world so people can teach them to your Pokemon, but at a cost. I kind of like it. Here's the problem. When you're wandering around this big open world where there is literally nothing interesting to find, the one time you do find something interesting, you see these yellow Pokeballs sitting around, and you're like, oh, cool, I can find a new move. You get it, and it's a goddamn TR every single time, which makes me not want to even use it, because it's going to break after I use it. I don't want to find a single-use consumable out in the world. I want to find something cool that I can have with me forever. Literally every other game is designed this way. I don't understand why the fuck why even have things. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. You could have cool items to find. You could have cool clothing articles to find, like things that you can't find in stores. They could even have hidden Pokemon in these locations. Like, remember how Pokemon Black and White and Diamond and Pearl had so many fucking legendary Pokemon? It was ridiculous. And you could just explore the world and find these legendary Pokemon hiding out in specific locations. There is none of that in this game, as far as I can tell. Like, Jesus, like, for a game that's whole thing is designed around these mythical Pokemon that literally shape the world in some instances, there is nothing interesting to find in this world at all. Except, of course, there's the fucking max raid dens, and they... So, you get back to Mr. Mustard after finding the max honey or whatever for Kubflu, or whatever the evolved form's name is. And Mr. Mustard's like, finally, you can fight me. I'm going to be here where you can fight me. Come on back and fight me. And then you go back, and let me just say, his wife is the worst. She seems nice on the outside, but she keeps asking me, the game has this other currency called watts. They're literally selling energy, which is like, what kind of dystopian world is this where people have to buy and sell energy from each other? and they're trading energy on the black market. But anyway, like, you do this, and she keeps asking for so many fucking watts just to upgrade like the dojo and give it like a vending machine and a hairstylist and whatever. And it starts off pretty small. It starts off like, oh, just give me a couple thousand and we can have this, this, and this. Then I'm literally at like the 1 million watt point, which is ridiculous. And the game is like pretty open, pretty free about just giving you watts, like randomly. So it's not insane, but it is annoying. It's like, come the fuck on. So literally, you give her enough watts, you give her like 1 million watts, and she's like, okay, you can battle this super powerful trainer. And I thought we were going to see a cameo from a trainer in an old game or like an old gym leader or something. And I was like, oh, that might be kind of cool. Nope, it's just her. You get to battle her, and it was easy as fuck, and I beat it super fast. Then she's like, oh, give me 2 million watts now. If we get up to 2 million whole watts, you get to spend some quality time with me. And I'm like, what? Are you suggesting what I think I'm like 10 years old, lady. I haven't gotten up to that yet, and I don't know what it's about. Maybe you get some kind of cool item as a result, which at this point, it's got to be one fucking cool item or a really cool cutscene or something. But enough about that. You fight Mr. Mustard, and I have to say, his fucking animations are so cool. This guy is such a badass when he comes out onto the field and he fucking flips in the air. Holy shit. I was like, man, I wish he had a better fleshed out backstory or something. But like with every other gym leader or whatever in the game, they have hints of a backstory, but when you actually get to fight them and battle them, that's pretty much the end of their story. And then, like, you beat him, and he's kind of tough, but you'll get through it. And Avery's like, oh, I learned so much, and I'm not going to cheat anymore. And that's the end of Avery's arc, and that's pretty much the end of the DLC. Like, there's other shit you can do, but it's all so fucking pointless. It's just padding. The whole DLC is just fucking padding. Like, there's even a guy who's like, oh man, I lost all my Diglett. Can you help me find my Diglett? And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like, what, 10, 15 Diglett I have to find around this island? No, it's fucking over 100 Diglett you have to find for this fucking guy. He's like, oh yeah, great, you found 20 Diglett, now find 100 more. Fuck off. Fuck you. No, I'm not finding 100 fucking Diglett around this. Are you fucking kidding me? In a better game that feels less padded and less fucking lazy as this shit, maybe I would be willing to do that. But anyway, this was Pokemon Isle of Armor DLC, and it has completely killed my hope in all things Pokemon for the near future. It's weird how this game, Pokemon Sword and Shield, made me like Pokemon Let's Go more, at least in hindsight. I haven't replayed that game in a while, but just thinking about it now, thinking about my time with it, I'm like, I think I kind of enjoyed it. Like, at first, I didn't like it. I feel like it wasn't really a game that was made for, you know, core Pokemon fans, people who collect every game. I feel like it was made for newcomers and children, which is fine. I didn't like it at first, and I was annoyed by the mechanics of it. But then you play Pokemon Shield, and you're like, oh, this is the future. This is the future of Pokemon, and this is not good. There's a level of care in Pokemon Let's Go that, I mean, I would say even in that game, a lot of things are unpolished. Like, the way some of the Pokemon move when you're riding on them is really dumb, and a lot of things just feel like they could be a lot tighter and more polished and given a lot more care. But that game is just I feel like I enjoyed it more than Pokemon Shield, which is supposed to be the next generation. I have this idea in the back of my head, and I know I came up with the fan appeal system and stuff for Pokemon Sword and Shield. That was specifically for that game. But I had this idea in the back of my head where you're playing like a Pokemon third movie generation kind of Pokemon game. You get to choose your character, and instead of a Pokedex, you have to explore this wild, big Pokemon area, and you have to jot down every new Pokemon that you see on your notebook. And you don't have to battle a Pokemon in order to have seen it. So you have the Pokemon roaming through, let's say you're in a big forest. I'm imagining like an over-the-shoulder camera for this. Something that you can zoom in, maybe take out a pair of binoculars and scope out a Pokemon. And when you do, your character will take out their journal and jot it down in their journal, and that's the new Pokedex. And so the whole mechanic of the game becomes exploring this wild open world of Pokemon and jotting down as many Pokemon as you can, trying to do that. And maybe there can be a bigger overarching story to connect things together, but that's the core mechanic, is you're a junior Pokemon researcher going through this wild open world of Pokemon and trying to jot down whatever you can about them. So you jot down, you draw a picture of the Pokemon, you jot down what they seem to be eating, you can jot down where you found them, etc., etc. Of course, you'll have a companion Pokemon with you, and they can follow behind you or rest on your shoulder if they're a smaller Pokemon, and you can even send them out to scout ahead and do battle with them if you want. You can catch Pokemon, of course, but there's different ways of catching them. You can place down bait, you can set traps, you can even lure them away by using sounds or smells or other things like that to make Pokemon behave in certain ways. And maybe they could bring back Team Rocket. And I really feel like it would fit really well in this. Maybe not in this specific time period. It could be a different team or something. But just this team that is trying to capture every Pokemon and take them away from their natural habitats or something. So you can be this junior Pokemon researcher that's trying to keep Pokemon in their natural habitats and protect them from this big team that's trying to tear them away. Of course, if you're catching Pokemon yourself, maybe that gets in the way of the environmental themes, but whatever. That's just my 2 cents of that's my Pokemon game idea. I was thinking about hiring an artist to get this drawn or something so you could see it more visually, but honestly, I don't have the money for that, and I don't care anymore. They're never going to make it, and it doesn't matter, and I'm just jacking myself off here. So I'm going to be done with this video. That was Pokemon Isle of Armor critique review, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I am not looking forward to the next one, whose name I can't even remember. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Gonna be working on some stuff. Mainly, I'm working on personal projects that are not YouTube related, but the next thing I make is probably going to be the Death Stranding video, probably a month from now. But till then, see you. Watch my The Last of Us Part 2 video if you want. It is good, I think. And watch my other Pokemon video if you haven't seen that. But see you next time. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Stay well. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet away, etc., etc. Good luck with everything. Good luck with life. I had a major fuck up recently in my real personal life. And I spent the last week panicking about it and trying to recover from that. So, I think everything is fine, but I hope that your lives are free of panic and free of major fuck-ups, at least in the near future. Anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm rambling. I'm not drunk, but I should be. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Hey!